Can you learn a language fluently with Rosetta Stone? Is it overpriced? Is its method effective? Today I'll be reviewing the language learning app Rosetta Stone, named after a stone used for translating Egyptian hieroglyphics, and I will come to a detailed conclusion summarising its advantages, disadvantages, and how it compares to other popular language learning apps. Rosetta Stone is widely known for its immersion language learning technique, which is prominent throughout the courses. This method involves pictures, audio, repetition, and the most important thing about it is there is absolutely no use of your native language at all in any of the courses, except for maybe the menus and settings and things like that. But when you're actually learning, when you're in the lessons, when you're in the parts of the courses, there is absolutely no use of your native language. So, for example, if I'm learning Arabic, no use of English whatsoever. These photos and this method is advertised by Rosetta Stone as being realistic learning, which I can see elements of, as the photos and conversations and the situations which they teach you or prepare you for in the language you are learning tend to be the kind of situations which you would encounter when using your language or your target language in real life. The good thing is these photos are very easily identifiable, so there won't be too much confusion about what it's trying to portray to you and what the words in the language you are learning are supposed to mean, going along with the picture which they are coupled with. But there are some quite major Photoshop issues on some of the pictures. For example, they have families travelling to, say, Beijing in China, and it's evidently just a picture of a family in a studio, cut out and then put on a photo of Beijing. And although that has nothing to do with language learning, it just isn't very professional, and it would just be much cleaner and much better if they just paid a little bit extra for a better Photoshopper, probably. One of the major issues of the photos of Rosetta Stone are that they are not culturally relevant whatsoever. They're predominantly very American, for example, the houses and the surrounding areas always tend to be in a city in the United States. It never really seems to shout that this is, for example, I'm learning Norwegian. I'm not actually, but it's just an example. If I'm learning Norwegian, there's not many pictures of glaciers or fjords or people climbing mountains in Norway or anything which is relevant to where the language I'm learning is from, and there isn't anything culturally special from that country involved in the course. It's mainly just pictures taken around the world, mainly in America, of just very American people. They try to show a lot of different cultures throughout the course, but when you're just learning one language and you're being shown a lot of different cultures, it's not really stuck to your target language. And the major reason for this is because most of their pictures are copy and pasted between courses. So if I'm learning French, I'll be seeing the exact same pictures as if I'm learning Dutch, which can also be a bit repetitive and boring if you are learning more than one language using Rosetta Stone. So if I learn Spanish and then I go on to learn Brazilian Portuguese, I'll see all the same pictures again. And if you are also associating images with words, then you may gradually get to confuse them if you're learning all your languages just using Rosetta Stone, so that's a problem. Despite this, the software is very user-friendly, with all the menus and settings being in English or in your native language, so those are the only parts which are in your native language, and they are very navigatable and very well laid out professionally. Rosetta Stone boasts a very systematic learning method designed to force you to interpret the meaning of words and phrases, and gradually drilling sentence structure and vocabulary into your head through repetition. However, it differs from other apps such as Duolingo, as it does this in a more natural sounding way, so that you will not sound robotic when you speak your target language. It also teaches grammar more naturally than other apps, as the user interprets what is going on, and the repetition of it in relevant situations helps to make it more natural. Although this, for me, is effective, repetition like this could get boring, and it does seem to be slow-paced, which would be a negative for more rapid or impatient learners. Patience is necessary when using Rosetta Stone. This slow pace could also make the courses very time-consuming, so bear this in mind when you purchase that it will be a commitment. A negative to this is the possibility that this time could be used more effectively in other learning methods, depending on what type of learner you are. Another negative for Rosetta Stone is that there are no whys in any of the courses. Nothing is fully explained because you cannot use your native language at all in any of the courses, therefore they don't explain anything for you. Everything's in your target language. So therefore, if you don't understand a word or a section of grammar, you have to look it up separately from Rosetta Stone on the internet or somewhere, and it will not explain to you in the course in Rosetta Stone what is going on in that sort of situation. So that could be a problem because Rosetta Stone isn't the be-all and end-all of language learning. You will have to use other resources as well. So yeah, you make of that what you will. This could be a problem for some people, and you may prefer to jump to an app that offers these explanations. For example, Babbel, because Babbel teaches all the different sides of grammar and everything, and it uses your native language as well as your target language. But there's obviously the pros and cons of Babbel as well, as I will explain in another video. I feel that the main factor putting people off Rosetta Stone is probably the price, because it is very expensive. I'm not saying it's the most expensive language learning app, because there are more expensive ones, but it's certainly not cheap. I don't think that language learning market really is cheap at all, really. It could be a lot cheaper, but there's a lot of effort which goes into making these kind of apps, so I can understand why maybe they might price them quite high. But yeah, it's definitely not the cheapest app. The prices when you pay in the app are £15 per month, £30 per 3 months, £55 per 6 months, or £100 per year. These are very high, as I said, compared to others on the market, therefore people may have doubts as to whether or not it's worth it. I'll now show you what a lesson on Rosetta Stone looks like, and then I'll run through my personal conclusions. Okay, so I'm going to start a core lesson of French on Rosetta Stone. I'm only going to do part of it. It's going to be in the tenses section of the course. I'm not going to do the whole of it because that will take like half an hour. I'm just going to maybe do 3 minutes of it just to show you the different types of questions they give you, the different methods they show. Past and future, core lesson 1, 30 minutes, start learning. Elle achète un livre. Elle a acheté un livre. Il joue au football. Il a joué au football. So that's the current and past tense. So he's playing football, he has played football. So that's just listening, reading, and matching them up to certain images. So this one we happen to match up one phrase to an image out of 2 choices of images which we could match up to. So, j'ai lu 4 livres. Okay, my pronunciation's terrible. And talking about my pronunciation, we have a speaking exercise. Elle va acheter des vêtements. Il va nager. So there's the future, the present, and the past tense. Okay, so this person is saying it, so it's in the I form of the verb. Je vais nager. Je nage. So you do get different people, different forms of verbs. For example, this one's in first person, the other one's in the third person. You get like we are, they are. You get everything. It does teach you all the different tenses and everything. Don't worry about that. So all of the Rosetta Stone course is just carrying on in pictures like that. Pretty simple, you just match up the answers. There's no typing or anything unless you're using the online version on the PC. So on the app there's no typing. So you just match them up, just tap in the pictures. It's simple. There's probably more videos on YouTube of full Rosetta Stone lessons. So I was just giving you a quick example. So now time for my conclusions. And bear in mind, these are my personal conclusions. So any disagreements will be natural. Don't get angry at me. Rosetta Stone. Is it worth it? Overall, I would say not worth it, though it depends on the type of learner you are, due to the extortionate price and the method isn't tailored to everybody. It differs depending on what type of learner you are, and therefore you might have to figure that out yourself before deciding if you're going to get Rosetta Stone and if that's the best app for you. So I wouldn't say this will solve all your language learning problems if you get Rosetta Stone. No, there might be better apps out there if you just want an all-round language learning app, and for the price it is, you might not want to just get Rosetta Stones, so therefore I would say not quite. I think that Rosetta Stone is a very well-rounded product and provides a well-researched path to fluency. However, it does price out more budget language learners, and it could add a few extra features to justify its price and reduce its repetitiveness. I've completed half the Latin American Spanish course, paying an annual fee, and my progress is very good, but I am sacrificing a lot to pay for it. If you would like to listen to my path to Spanish fluency and me speaking broken Spanish, and trying to learn French with Rosetta Stone, so you will see how my progress is after using Rosetta Stone for only about 4 days for French, then click the video up here. It is my learning French in 2 weeks video. It is all in Spanish, apart from me testing out my French at the end, therefore you will see how far I have come learning Spanish, Latin American Spanish, in 6 months, and learning French on Rosetta Stone in 4 days. All the content in this video is mostly from Rosetta Stone, okay? So trust me, the majority of this is Rosetta Stone. I was using Duolingo and other apps before Rosetta Stone to learn Spanish, Latin American Spanish, but obviously using just Duolingo doesn't really help that much. You need to have something beside Duolingo, as I'll explain in my Duolingo review. Therefore, I wasn't really making much progress. I could probably direct a conversation about maybe ordering food in a cafe after about 4 months learning Spanish just with Duolingo. Then I switched to Rosetta Stone, did it for 6 months, and now I'm having fluent conversations. So yeah, that is my progress in Spanish after 6 months using Rosetta Stone. So I think it was good for learning Spanish, but overall I would say there may possibly be better apps out there, or you could get multiple apps and learn even better. It's your choice. You take from this review what you want. Thank you all for watching. Please give this review a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed and if you have found it helpful. I will see you in the next one.